JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 13th of October 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. Now then guys, jumping into the charts. The first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about it because basically it's still the same analysis still valid, because what I said before, that I need to see a drop below the 26,222 territory in order to go lower. At the moment we might see maybe a little hold up here, so well, as you can see already we had a hold up here, but yeah, I'm very curious to see how it's going to open up tomorrow. A lot will depend of course on today's trading activity in Europe and US. Today we have, by the way, the CPI numbers from the US, so that could be quite an interesting moment, so be very careful with your trading. But yeah, looking at this, like I said, if we see a huge decline today in Europe or in the US, then we could see this one following suit and drifting nicely to my target here near the 25,775 territory initially, and then we will go kind of from there. Jumping into Shanghai Composites, so very quickly on that one, beautiful recovery here. Everything was kind of nice and dandy here for the bulls. So we pushed above this barrier. If you remember, I talked about this to 2,987. I said that, look, I mean, if we push above it as well, we could get to that 3,000 level, and if we clear the 3,000 level, we could go higher, but only up until this downside line. Now, what I also said to you yesterday, that in a way, such patterns here, when we have a huge decline like that and then we have like a grinding movement here to the downside, eventually it kind of comes out with a breakout to the upside. Now, at the moment I would say I cannot really get excited with that scenario, because again, we're still below that downside line, but if we break it, then yes, this could open the door towards higher levels, but I will only aim for this this 21-day EMA initially, and then we'll take it from there. Now, jumping into the ASX 200 here, so the index is trading still below this highlighted zone, the 6,700 territory. So yeah, I mean, so far I'm still sticking to my target, the 6,573. I want to see what's going to happen here, if we can reach it, and then I'll go from there. And this is just pretty much straightforward. So let's see if we can, you know, end up testing this area. If we pop above the 6,700 zone, there is a chance to see a larger correction here to the upside towards this downside line, but I would actually prefer to wait for a break of this downside line here, and if we get a clear break of this downside line, then yes, then yeah, I'll go to the upside. The German index, DAX. Okay, so looking at the picture here, you can see that that we had a good kind of relatively good trading activity yesterday. I mean, we closed in negative zone, but we had a nice move to the upside initially. Most importantly, we stayed below this little hurdle here, this 12,228 zone, and that's quite important. We stayed below it, and we're looking at the cash index right now. We're also sitting below it right now. So in other words, there is still potential for this one to move lower. I would say as long as it remains below this hurdle here, then yes, I will go to the downside. One thing to keep in mind, if you're looking for some maybe more reassurance for the downside, a drop below this level would be ideal. A drop below the 12,097 territory could do the trick here for a few more sellers, because a nice forthcoming lower low would be confirmed. For the upside, I need to see a push above the 12,439 level right here. Very conservative, I would say, from my side, because at the same time we would get a nice push above the 21-day EMA. Simple as that. Nasdaq 100. So yeah, continues to do the same thing basically. We are still below the 10,967 territory. So yeah, I mean, yesterday we had a bit of a push to the upside, but that's fine. That's okay. But then we declined back down. So in other words, at the moment I'm still aiming for the downside. I don't have a clear level as you can see here for the downside, but I'm gonna be aiming for this lowest side of the falling channel here, which probably at this point would be, let's say for today, could be this 10,450 mark. So yeah, that's of course that's quite a significant drop, I would say, but hey, let's be on the careful side, guys. I mean, looking at the latest trading activity I mean, we were kind of, we didn't have huge swings here, but given that we today have the US CPIs coming out together with the crude oil inventories, so expect maybe something interesting coming out from the US, forcing this index, maybe giving us some nice good swings here. Similar story with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I would say we're currently getting a hold up near this 29,200 mark, so approximately around here. Just to let you know what that level was in the past here. This is the this one right here. Basically, kind of just bear with me. Let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. So this is the highest point of September of 2020. So we're currently getting a hold up here, although we did pierce that through, but as you can see, we're kind of oscillating around it. So so yeah, it's I would say it's a little bit of on a at the moment nobody's game, I would say. Yes, I mean, we're just observing this. So if we do see a push higher, but we struggle to get above the 29,653 territory, then yet another decline here could be possible. Certainly for the upside in general, I would like to see a move back above that psychological 30,000 mark, but a break of this downside line is required. This is the high of the highest point of August. So yep, we're drawing this downside line from there. So at the same time, if we get a clear break through it, then yeah, we could go nicely to the upside. Now, in terms of the downside, as I said before, that as long as it stays below this hurdle here, I'm gonna go lower. But of course, if it starts dropping below the current lowest point of this week, which is roughly around here near the 29,000 mark, now that's where it could become quite interesting for a few more sellers, and this will confirm a forthcoming lower low and would place the index below the psychological 29,000 mark. So keep that in mind. DXY, the dollar index, so still flat. Also waiting for today's news. That's quite logical. So yep, you can see that yesterday we kind of ended up with a doji. I said it before, and I'll stick to my game plan for now. If we remain above somewhere above this 112.56 territory, I'll consider still the upside as my main scenario. However, if we start falling below this hurdle, then I'll take a bit of a careful approach, and maybe we could see a nice correction here back down toward the 21-day EMA, or even maybe all the way towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 11th of August. Now jumping into gold. So gold is stuck as well. Also waiting for the news to come out. So yeah, again, everything's like really on the cautious side, on the calm side. So basically, we're just observing the price action for now. So I need to see a clear push either above this 1675 territory, the one that I mentioned yesterday. And look at this. Today it acted as a good area of resistance, so if we push above it, then I'll aim for this 21-day EMA, but I'll keep an eye on that 1689 level as my potential next resistance zone. For the downside, it needs to drop below the 1660 territory in order to get comfortable with lower levels. Silver. Silver is, it's drifting nicely to the downside, as I talked before about it. Yesterday I mentioned that, look, I mean, I'm aiming for this upside line taken from the low of the 1st of September, but don't get me wrong, this upside line is very tentative, because again, we have only 2 touches here, and also we can draw another upside line from the same spot here, this one, which is also kind of valid-ish, but yeah, if we break the upside line in this 1878 level, then yeah, I'll go towards this other slightly less steep upside line here, and then we'll go from there. But at the moment, I'm watching this. I want to see if we can get maybe a little rebound or something like that. So yeah, let's wait and see, guys. WTI oil, so there we go. We declined. We dropped below this 38.2. Yesterday I talked about this. Yesterday we saw a reversal here, as you can see. We've came back to the 23.6. It provided resistance, and then we sold off. So great. It sold off, and it went all the way towards that 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. I mean, talk about Fibonacci levels working. I mean, yeah, we broke the upside line. So the only thing is that we broke it by just opening below it, this candle showing up below it, and that's it. So it wasn't really a clear breakout here. So that's why you can get rid of it, no longer needed. Now I'm just going to focus on some of these areas. I'm going to keep still the Fibonacci levels because so far they are working out. So if it's working still, so just keep on using it. Once it stops working, then yeah, this is where you can remove it. But at the moment, let's say like this: if you want to aim lower, I will wait for a drop below this 50% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is roughly around that 86.40 zone. At the same time, we could see a drop below the 21-day EMA. This could open the door towards that 61.8% retracement on the Fibonacci here, which is roughly around that 84.68 level right here, and then we'll go from there. I'm not going to drag this one way too much to the downside. So yeah, I mean, at this arrow, I want to park it somewhere, but it's the let's put it here, let's leave it here. But either way, guys, I mean, if you're looking for some lower levels, that's where this is how I'm gonna play this one. Of course, once we get it, let's say a drop here, you straight away, if you're in profit, you straight away put your stop loss on a breakout level or break even, so that to avoid any sharp reversals back to the upside. So keep that in mind. But at the moment, yeah, it's an interesting one if you're looking for some upside. Yesterday I talked about this level, the 93.62, but I think now that we moved a little bit more to the downside, I think that now we can keep an eye on that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. If we climb back above it, then yes, I will consider a move to the upside. Now, ETC USD, so this is Ethereum, the classic one. So if you remember a while ago, I looked at this, and this is by my arrow drawn here, has talked about this range here, which yeah, was kind of working out nicely. Then we broke the lower side of the range, and I said that if we break the lower side of the range, I will go towards this next potential area of support near the 22.80 level or near this 22.17 level as well. So so basically mission accomplished, but it took a while. It took us let me just have a look. yeah, after we broke this, so yeah, it took us about 25 days, so basically like a month to get there. And so yeah, talk about like being patient. But hey, I would still say mission accomplished. So now the question is, can we go lower? Can we drift through this area, through this whole support zone? Now at the moment, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I mean, I'm just gonna observe this because I want to see if we will get some sort of a maybe a hold up here, you know, like or not, or we're actually gonna pierce it through and go lower. So yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. But yeah, at the moment, like I said, at the moment it's a bit of a waiting game, so let's see how this is going to play out. We're near a key support zone. However, it's still showing some signs that it wants to go a little bit lower. Now let's jump into a few pairs very quickly. Aud Jpy, beautiful recovery here, beautiful rebound from this area. I talked about this. This is what I've drawn before. So I said that, look, if we rebound from that 200 EMA area, then my next target could be this 92.52. But only up until here maybe, and then maybe another. If it holds, another decline could be possible. So far, it's holding. Of course, don't get me wrong. This could still, if it pops above this 92.52, then there is a chance for it to move towards that downside line right here. And then maybe, you know, go back to the downside. But yeah, like I said, at the moment it's I'm considering this scenario. If you're not really comfortable with this scenario, the easier option is to keep an eye on the 91.42 zone right here, together with that 200-day EMA. If we clear that, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and my next target could be that 90.52 zone. AUD USD. So yeah, looking at the picture here, we can say that it's still holding nicely near this 0.6254 level right here. I talked about this level before, so far so good. If you're looking for some higher levels on this one, well, I would say at least wait for a push back above the 0.6392 territory, somewhere around here. Previously, I looked at it as a good area of support. Now it could take the role of resistance. And also, depending on how we're going to trade here, certainly with that upside level, you need to also maybe keep an eye on this little downside line here. So, you know, this is where it could come in perfectly, where this level could come in perfectly, because at the same time we could get a break of this downside line. But at the moment we're below this downside line still, so downside scenario is still not off the table. But I would like to see now a nice good drop below the 0.6253 territory right here in order to go lower. USD JPY slowly continues to grind higher, like very quietly, without any, you know, like eccentric moves. So yeah, it continues to trade above this upside support line taken from the low the 2nd of August. Now, as I said before, that if we pop above the 145 level, my next target is this one right here, this 147.65, and so far we're, you know, approaching that area. So great. What's next? Now, just wanted to show you what that level was in the past. Basically, let me just adjust here. So yeah, this is the 147.65. If you remember, last month when I was talking about this, we were still around 140 level, and you know, this level kind of didn't look very, let's say, maybe, or it looked a little bit more on the drastic side, but hey, you know, slowly with small little steps you eventually get there, and there we go, the highest point of August of 1998, guys. That's what we're coming to, or in other words, the highest point of 1998. So yeah, we're coming to that level closer and closer. So let's see if we can actually get a nice test of it, and maybe it can hold as well. But don't forget that what we could see is maybe like a nice pierce through it, and then, like, you know, a move through it, but then maybe at the end of the day it's gonna drift back down, and you know, could stay below it eventually, and this could be a signal for the sellers to start coming in. But Of course, I am keeping a close eye on just the market itself, because if the equities suddenly, let's say, if the equities are still hanging where they're hanging right now, then we could see USD JPY continuing to drift higher. However, if we suddenly see a strong decline in a huge sell-off in the equities, then basically we could see AUD, or should I say JPY, attracting buying interest, and maybe we could see this pair drifting nicely to the downside. Now, USD Cad. So, okay, USD Cad, still watching this, and I kept on talking about this, guys. As I said, that look, this level 1.3833. If you're looking for some upside, then you need to see a clear break, and you need to see the pair staying above that. Well, we got some false breakouts here. We're not really getting that that clear break through it yet, but basically what I said before, that if this area continues to provide resistance, maybe this could lead to a bit of a decline here and back to the downside. However, my preferred scenario for the downside is from around here, somewhere from around that 1.3695 territory, or if you want, you can round it up to 1.37 zone, and then we will go from there. But at this point, I'm just observing this, but of course it's very tempting here for the short sellers, because if it continues to provide resistance here, then maybe a decline could be possible. However, if it pops, it could go. And like I said, don't forget about today's news. So maybe we could get that pop today, or maybe we could get that strong reversal back down. So let's see how it's going to play out. Now, US dollar against the South African rand. So I kept on talking about this. So yeah, we managed to clearly break this barrier. Great. Now what's next? Next is the upper side of the rising channel where we are right now. We are in two rising channels, one a wider one and the longer one, and the other one is the steeper one and the shorter one. So yeah, but I can say that we could be maybe aiming for the, where we have the crossroads of the upper sides of these two channels. So maybe around here could be a nice target. That's around 18, maybe 72, 73, something like that. But yeah, let's as I will aim for that area only if we continue to trade above this 18.22 territory right here. In order to consider the downside, I need to see a break of this shorter and steeper rising channel, the lower side of it, and then yeah, we could go to the downside. GBP CHF. So just a quick update. Beautiful reversal here. Look, after I said that, look, we broke the 1.10 territory, and if we stay below it, I'll go lower. Well, what happened? We didn't stay below it. And we pushed back above. We broke the downside line. We pushed above the 21-day EMA, and now we are kind of keeping an eye on this 1.1074 zone. So if we get a nice clear push above it, then yeah, I'll go higher. At the moment, I'm already cautiously bullish, but I would like to see a nice little kind of move further above this barrier in order to go higher, because as you can see so far, it's providing good resistance. And finally, not finally, but GBP USD, not finally yet. GBP USD, beautiful rebound from this area. I talked about this, and so far everything's working out nicely. So yeah, good play here. I talked about this level, the 1.0931. We got a nice rebound. So now the question here is, can we go a little bit higher here? Well, at the moment, I will stick to my plan. I will aim for that 21-day EMA together with that 1.1240. And we clear that, then yes, this would open the door towards maybe some higher levels. But let's be very careful here. If we fall below the 1.0931 level right here somewhere, then yes, I'll go to the downside. EURUSD, this one's quite interesting because, again, on one hand, it's forming a possible maybe descending triangle. On the other hand, maybe it's actually a nice little bullish pennant or a flag, depends on how you're going to draw this. Maybe if you're going to draw it this way, then yeah, we have ourselves not only a bullish flag here, but also a falling wedge pattern, which, according to all the TA rules, tends to break to the upside. But again, a confirmation break is still needed. So at the moment, I'm just observing this one. I'm not rushing into anything because because I don't want to make a fool of myself, of course, with this. If we do clear this upper side of the again, this is the question: how you're going to draw this. I mean, either it's or how you're going to consider it. Either you're going to consider it as a falling wedge pattern, or a bullish flag. So you have two potential scenarios in favor of the bulls, and you have one potential scenario in favor of the sellers, which is a descending triangle. So either way, if it's a descending triangle, then you need to see a break below this 1.3323 level, because at the same time you would drop below all of the EMAs on your chart here. And if we, well, on my chart actually, then we could open the door to some lower levels. But if we clearly break this upper side of the break the upper side of this let's just say a formation, then yes, we could go lower. I'll aim for that 200-day EMA. Of course, initially I'll aim for this little hurdle here, the highest point of October, the current highest point of October, near the 1.3570, and then we'll take it from there. EURUSD. So we're still flat, of course. Looking at this, I mean, for me, I can see that it seems to be preparing for a bigger move of some sort today. So, hey, let's see how that's going to play out. Of course, probably it's waiting for that, for that CPI number from the US to come out. So yeah, could be quite interesting today. I would say could be quite interesting, because as you can see, for the past 2 days we have these dojis, just kind of the pair trade flat, and maybe, like I said, maybe we could get that move today. So be very careful. So yeah, guys, that's kind of it for this session. It was a quick one, or actually within my time limit. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments, everything. So thank you very much. I hope you'll have a fantastic trading day today. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. And then if it's not going in your direction, let's say, leave it. There's always tomorrow, guys, because the most important thing is not to overtrade, because your biggest enemy is not the market, it is you. So yeah, be very careful with that, guys. So thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.